No, that I make the crowd go mad. But you're not bad, far from mad. Jackson bad, Tito bad. But you get slipped, cheekboxed and drag. But you get slapped, cheekboxed and bland. But you get slapped, cheekboxed and drag. But you get slapped, cheekboxed and
we have arrived. Get it. I'm here. I brought the great British weather with us.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Thanks for that.
So you know how it goes. Get the kettle on, darling.
Right,
Get the kettle on.
Cool. So what's been going on? What's happening?
What's been happening? A lot.
Yeah.
I'm here to find out what you've been doing.
Do you know what?
What you've been up to?
It's been busy times, you know?
Yeah.
It's been busy times, yeah, man. Trying to stay active, trying to stay busy.
I love to hear that.
Trying to stay focused. You know what I mean? It's not simple, but we make it work.
That's what we do. That's what we do. Well, yeah, I'm here to have a sit down with you.
Yes.
Obviously,
Of course.
It's We Outside.
No.
That's the show, guys. We're dirty.
That's why she's standing in my way.
What do you mean? Listen.
See? You see? Bamboozled. You know, when people look well, they got people bamboozled. You know what I mean? But it's all right, we do.
But you know, there's a certain technique to make a good cup of tea, though.
What's the technique? Tell me, what am I missing?
How long you leave the tea bag in for?
I know about that. Don't worry about it. We'll check it out in a minute. We'll check it out in 5.
We're finna see your tea.
We'll see.
Well, dirty, yes, my lovely. We're here. Thank you for welcoming me in your home. Listen, it's important that we have these moments because you've been very active.
Yeah.
I think once we kind of spin it round, we're going to sit down, we're going to chop it up.
100%.
Right now, I just need my cup of tea. Do you know what I mean?
Don't worry, I got you. Sugar?
3 sugars.
3, you know?
Yes, man.
Listen, you do better than this. You lot do better than
3 sugars.
1 at tops. Come, guys, 1.
Guys, let me know in the comments because I feel like 3 sugars is like just right.
It's diabetes.
Yeah, no, I need the sweetness in my life. I know I'm sweet, but we got extra, yeah.
Right, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man. So what you got an event coming up, innit?
Yes, so I've been working on this thing called Durrty and Bad House Parties.
Yes.
So it's just trying to bring back the vibes of us over 30s don't feel like raving's the same again. We're getting to that crowd, you know that? Back in my day.
Yeah.
I feel like that now. So I'm just trying to keep a vibe for us that are a bit more grown and trying to
the mature
crowd, but you know, try and keep that youth element to it. You know what I mean? Where you can just throw on whatever you wanted. Yeah. Impress who you want to impress.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And just so that Bad House Parties is the new thing that's going on.
Yes.
So April the 19th. April the 19th.
You know, guys, you're gonna catch a girl Glam Nadz right here, having a good little session at me, but that stuff you guys might not see that. Okay, you get I lock off at a certain time, guys. You get me? I'm here to have a good time, so now I'm looking forward to that. So big up, Bad Andrew.
Yes, Bad Andrew. More about Bad Andrew. Bad Andrew's somebody that I've known for a very, very, very long time who works very, very hard. To be honest with you, he does a lot of things. To be honest with you. So whether it be musical send off or he's having his marquee jams or his Morocco weekend,
that's how I met him, was through the marquee jams.
This is it.
Mate, that thing go on till like 7 a.m.
You don't play. You see, for me, that's why I said 4 o'clock because that's my cut-off time. So when I'm linking up in Bad Andrew, I just say to me, big man, we got this timing thing. Let's all stay until 7. So he's somebody that I've connected with. We've known each other for a very, very long time, and I thought it's something that we could connect to make something happen. He's got a good following. I feel like I've got a good following myself. So making the Durrty and Bad House Party thing happen. It sounds like he's got a good ring to it anyway. You know what I mean?
It actually just makes sense. Even when you just see you guys on the promo and the flyers and like, it just works aesthetically. Just the vibe. Like obviously, I came to the first one.
That was the very first one.
The first one, and that was just. When I tell you guys, there was no space. Like
that's what. There was no space. But that's how house parties used to be. If you remember, it used to be curtains are dark off. There's no phones. People are catching their wine. Who's dancing with whose man? You know, like, no, but
listen, but there wasn't social media one about like that, so there was a sense of like, yeah, we can be outside.
You can just enjoy yourself.
Hold a vibe.
That's our thing. We just want to bring back the vibes of people enjoying themselves and being able to just, you know, just get on with things and have a good time and just, you know what I mean? So that's my thing.
Yeah, I love that. Kettle's bold.
All right, so you sound like you want to take over
at
this point.
No, I'm just trying to be helpful, darling.
You know what it is? You see, in 2025, women don't even make the D's again.
But look,
like before, like, man would come home from a long day or he's in the studio or whatever else. She'll say, babe, you want to. Now in 2025, you got to have your CV and you make the team. You know how to.
Oh, what?
I'm playing.
Yeah, because now in 2025, we want to know, can the man cook?
It was the effort. No, you see the effort? She brought the kettle over.
We're 50-50 in that, B. We're 50-50 in this game. All right, it's not bad. Cheers to a cuppa.
See?
Let's take it to the front room because, I feel like we really just need to touch on this, how the industry, how things kind of work. So
no, I do hear you.
Well, before we get into industry talks, I just want to welcome everyone. Yeah. So if you're not locked in already, guys, it is your girl Glam Nadz right here on Glam Nadz TV, and we're outside. We're outside. That's the vibe, yeah? And I'm here with an amazing guest that I've been wanting to connect with. Well, we've been connecting, but obviously, as you guys previously heard, but I feel like for us to really sit down and get into your career and your journey, guys, Mr. Durrty.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, actually, I came to you, to be fair, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
I appreciate it.
But we're here, and we touched on the industry a little bit, and as I see here, we've got, some accolades and
a few little bits, man. A few little recent bits, should I say? Physical accolades.
Yes,
physical accolades.
Yeah.
I think it's important to kind of embrace yourself along the way and set yourself targets, and once you've accomplished them, praise yourself in some capacity. So just one or two physical accolades that I brought up with me.
I love this. Let's talk about it a little bit.
Yes.
So we got this one, which is I feel like I've got it upside down. Oh, right, no, I haven't. Black Excellence Awards.
Yeah, so Black Excellence Award 2022. That was a crazy surprise to be honest with you, because I didn't hear much about the award ceremony beforehand. And then I got an email. You know, like when you get an email, it's one of them princes of Nigeria. You won the lottery, but you got to send £500.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of those, but no, all jokes aside, I received the email, and it was just one of those things. It wasn't much of a presentation or this company. It was just kind of it felt like it came from a lady who was telling me that she'd been watching my stuff over the past couple of years. And within what she does, she was somebody who was an ex-British athlete.
Wow.
As well as she does like Miss UK pageants and stuff like that. So she puts on her own events and stuff. And she felt like I deserved social media. So I think that was during the pandemic.
I thought that's when you got really heavy with doing your online lives or daily debates.
Yeah, that's when it got serious to be honest with you. So around that time, I got the email about wanting to present me with the award for doing daily debates for that amount of time.
Love that.
Yeah, it felt good, man. Yeah. To get an inspiration award.
Yeah. Because it's one thing, I suppose, like the viewers and your audience, like messaging and DMing and letting you know like how much they appreciate your content and being involved in the lives, and it's another thing actually being acknowledged with like you said, a physical award.
Yeah,
it gives another level to it.
It is, man.
What one we got over here?
So this one is this was daily debate. This was a funny one to me, because this was my first ever award for anything that I've ever done.
Okay.
This was my first ever award. This was 2021, the Appreciation Awards, Listener's Choice Best Podcast.
Wow.
So this was one that was voted by the people. So it wasn't just one of those where the company voted it. So people had to vote.
Listeners first, you know.
Do you know what the maddest news about this award is?
Go on.
I don't have a podcast.
Did you know what? Did you know what I was gonna say? But I was gonna say, is that not off the back of doing the live debates?
No, it was off the back of doing the live debates, but again, there was people that was putting time and effort into their productions, editing sessions, and going to the studio and whatever else it is. And there was some good podcasts that was in the runnings for it.
Yeah.
And then when I was sitting there, it felt bad. I felt like moguls. It was so crazy.
And it should feel like that, though. It should feel really like that.
And then sending the picture to my family while I was still at the event.
Yeah.
Phone was going. It was just felt so sick. I feel like a child now, if you can see it on my face.
Nice moment.
Things that happened.
I love that. I love that. Well, we've got this one up here that says your full government. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mikel Lewis.
You know what it is? Yeah? It's not the time I swerved letting the world know about Mikel Lewis. You know what I mean? No, because obviously...
But that's what we're here to find out. We've got Mr. Durrty, but really behind it all, you've got Mikel Lewis.
Yeah, there is. And that was... this was presented to me by my management at the time in 2020. At the time, I had written 3 films.
Wow. So you've got director, you've got artist,
you've
got debates, we've got events, photographer, which we'll get into a bit later. So plate is full.
There's a lot of stuff going on. So at the time I didn't plan to write movies in any capacity.
Okay.
I feel like everyone was just obviously in lockdown or whichever else it is. I just had a moment about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Tell about this way for me, guys.
So I had a bit of a moment at about 3 o'clock in the morning one night during the pandemic. I was just really thinking about my son. To be honest with you. And nothing super negative, but
not at all. But as you're saying about your son,
my boy, my big boy.
Where the heart is.
Yeah, that is where my heart is. I was just having a thought about just trials and tribulations that it took for me to be a dad and whichever else it is. And I was in a good space at the time in regards to be a dad.
Okay.
But I just had this voice that was playing in my head at that night about what the playback would have been like if it was coming from his perspective.
Interesting.
That's what my brain did. But for some reason, I was getting from a perspective of a little girl because I feel like the world emphasizes with or sympathizes with a little bit more with girls. So I said, we write it from a woman's perspective or a young girl's perspective.
Interesting.
And just wrote about the trials and tribulations of father and mother, but from the child's perspective. Just the child's voice. Nobody else's voice. And I just wrote this piece of poetry. So I just wrote about what I think the child would have been thinking about, saying, whichever else it is. I just posted on Instagram. And my phone went mental.
Okay. So that was the beginning of...
Yeah, that was the beginning of writing the movie. So it wasn't a plan to write the movie. I literally just wrote it, posted it on Instagram. And I had people that were bad boys messaging me like, bro, you had your tears today. This, that, and that. And it was getting a lot of traction. And I was like, imagine if then I got a little girl to read it.
Yeah.
So big up Ice Cream.
Oh yes, done. Yes.
Big up Ice Cream. I've got a show I love. So Ice Cream I've known for a very long time. Her daughter is the narrator of my film.
Crazy world. So, well, I've just recently connected with Ice Cream. So
I've known Ice Cream a very, very long time.
Yourself, Queen.
Her daughter is the director of my film. So I was like, I reached out to Ice Cream. She was actually on tour at the time. And she decided that she was going to read the script for me.
Wow, that's
so
dope.
She went to the studio, me, Queen, and her daughter was in the studio. Was kind of coaching her for a big up Redman UK as well. He was the engineer at the time.
Wicked.
And we just kind of coached her through how we wanted it to sound and try and coach her through some of the emotions, whichever else it is. And she's done an amazing job.
Dope.
And then from that, I posted that. I was like, oh my God, no,
you know what I mean? Yeah, because it's a little girl's voice, and then it's like the emotion behind the words and everything, and then just the whole concept all together.
Yeah, so that was the next stage, and then we was like, all right, so imagine if there was a movie today.
Yeah.
So I reached out to a company that were filming. Nobody was shooting during that.
No.
Everybody was in their houses and was scared to come out, whatever. And there was 1 or 2 people that were willing to come out and shoot some stuff or whatever. So I reached out to this company, they were willing. So I just got the cast together. If you look at the cast now, when I look at it now and think about it, one of the lead actors in that is now one of the lead actors in Superstar.
Wow.
The little girl is the daughter in Shiloh's story.
That's wild.
You know what I mean? So I've looked at certain things and I'm like, the way that I've done things.
Where can they still watch it?
YouTube now.
They're on YouTube. Yeah.
YouTube now. So
we'll put the link. We'll put the link.
Yeah, so you can see all these things still happening. So
where have you been? That's Durrty SKANX. My man's out here doing bits right now. Durrty SKANX, yeah. Tune's bad, innit? Tune's hard. Banging. I like. Mad thing.
Yeah, amazing. So it's like along your journey you've made like an impact on on the industry really overall.
You know, I feel like impact, not to separate too much, but I feel like impact for me is something that is a part of my DNA. My mum's has always been an impactful person.
Yeah.
So mum has always been somebody who's enjoyed feeding her community. She's never been the richest person, but her way has always been giving her neighbours food and whichever else it is. And people have always loved my mum for that, and they've always checked for her. My mum used to put out crazy Christmas stuff in the garden and like coming and take pictures with their kids like it was Santa's brother. I grew up like that, if you know what I mean. So watching my mum do those things, I felt like when I see myself doing it now, I feel like it comes from something.
Yeah, just naturally because you're able to see the example of someone actually giving back in their community.
Yeah, it's important. So I feel like my way of doing things is having these parenting sessions, having these conversations, having these things where I feel like I can give something back in some capacity.
For sure, So before we get into Mr. Durrty, the artist, the producer, all of this, photographer and all of that, who's Mikel as a father?
Oh man, that is
No, but I mean, because this is the core of it,
As a father, like I said to me, my life changed at 19. Which is quite a young age. A lot of us had young children, some of us had children older, but for me, finding out my son was outside of his son was the first stage, and then having him and see how he looked at me, and as he's grown, he wanted to be like me and all of these kind of things. And in having physical difficulties myself along the way in regards to being a young dad and epilepsy and stuff or whatever else it is, I was diagnosed at the same time I had my son.
Wow, so you were diagnosed with epilepsy from the age of 19, 20?
19, I was diagnosed at 20.
Okay.
So I started having seizures at 19, but I was physically diagnosed at 20.
Wow, talk us through that. That must have been a bit scary.
It was a lot to listen to because remember now I'm not allowed to be with my child by himself. Like I can't spend time with him by himself. I'm not
just in case. For sure.
So there was I grew up feeling like I was normal. Like, wow, guys, the Reagan, love it, and then all of a sudden
your life just took a sudden turn.
At the same time as being a dad. So I think it's something that kind of humbled me. In a way, do you know what I mean?
It brought you into the human side of life. Life has really just changed like that.
Literally,
and then you had to adapt to this new Mikel.
Literally. The pressure of being Mikel at the age of 19 is when it all got very, 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 very serious. And not just for the fact of being a dad. I was so passionate about not having a dad and not wanting to be like my dad. When I realised I was going to be one, it stressed me to the point of becoming ill. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you're overthinking it and you're like, because from a personal experience myself, I grew up in foster care. So I didn't have that maternal mother and father there. So for me, when the realization hit when I was going to become a mother, and I was a young parent myself, a little bit younger than you, but it was that kind of realization that, right, I want to be better than what my parents were to me. I think greatest will always go is the fact that you gave me life, and it was always a blessing to have life, and really at that point it's like I need to now I just need to be all those things that I didn't get.
Of course. And I think it was so important for me, man. Like I think none of us want our children to be a part of the circle and cycle.
This is it. Because the pressure's real.
Oh, it is.
The pressure's real.
It is. And
so,
for me, I was willing to, I think it became super passionate for me when I realised that I was willing to throw my whole life away in order to make that happen. For my kids. For myself. You know what I mean at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, being Mikael Lewis and separating Dirty SKANX from Mikael Lewis at the time was very confusing as a teenager. And whatever else.
Yeah.
Which then led to stress and whichever else it is. But again,
so you got seriously ill, or it was just a matter of you just wasn't back to who you were before?
I just became sick, to be honest with you. I literally went from one day everything's cool, and then when you're young with stress-related epilepsy, the way your body reacts to it when you're later on in that is very different. So it was extremely violent for me in regards to, I'd be having a conversation with you now, then mid-sentence I would just book, and then my body collapses.
Wow.
And then I've gone into a seizure. So there's no sort of signs or warning or whatever else.
So you had to learn what the signs were on the job.
Do you know what the funny thing is? I don't even think it was a matter of learning what the signs was. I think it was as it progressed and I got older, I think the stress levels dropped a little bit because of how I was dealing with it.
You learned how to handle the stress levels.
Stress levels. So when
ultimately...
so when the stress... the impact of the stress still happened, I felt that there were signs there. So I would feel like, to describe it in some capacity, it felt like the curtains were closing slowly. That's what it felt like. So when I'm standing there and I'm having a conversation with you, and then it just feels like all of a sudden my curtains do.
Yeah, but can people see that from the outside, or you just look like you're here, but you're not really here?
Not necessarily. So let's say, for example, when I was younger, you would have no idea. There was times I was standing up on the block with my brethren and I'm MCing, spitting lyrics, and then halfway through.
No. Oh my God.
I've got a little ball patch here on my head.
So from when you fell?
That's when I fell and hit my head on the curb. Open my head open, bow, in front of the man there, just there chilling, MCing, and boom.
That's why
it was a very, very dangerous time. Very dangerous, because again, you never know when it could happen. There was no telltale signs. It's not, I was stressed out today. So I'm going to have a seizure today. It doesn't work like that. I could be stressed out for the past 2 weeks and be fine. Today, vibes and having a great day. Your body says, hey, what? You remember that 2 weeks that you were going through? Here's the seizure. Imagine it's your hair now, having a conversation with me, and then the next time you open your eyes, you're in the closest hospital. That's how
did that impact and affect people around you? From your loved ones to your friendships.
I think for my family and closest friends, the first time it ever happened, I was with my 2 best friends.
Okay. You're the same hands?
No, because we're kids.
Right. So
but
at least they were like, they're not the kind of friend. They're your best. Exactly.
It was a very scary time. But Aaron, Junior, Mighty, Suave, there was a few people that my son's mom, all of these people that stuck by me. That's not me even naming family. But there was people that stuck by me, so to speak, regardless if they knew that, because there was people that detached themselves. There was women that said they wouldn't date me because
this is real life.
This is like the reality.
It's
not compulsory for someone to have to deal with someone's disability. You may come across somebody and learn at the disabled and think, do you know what, I may not be able to manage that. And again, for me, I watched it happen for a period of time, and it was, do you know what I mean? So it had its impacts, it had its moments, but again, it gave me real tough skin and opened my eyes to the world that I was floating around in for so long, being the MC that kind of got what you wanted, the attention of the girls, real stuff that you just don't realise isn't all real life. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you.
Insane.
Insane. So then you created your persona, you created the artist. So tell me a little bit behind Durrty SKANX, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that come about? How did Dirty SKANX come about? Because it's not really a name that you just hear. Yeah. It is. Like, again, about being different. I don't want to be Shadow or Ninja. There's a lot of ninjas actually. There's a lot of ninjas. You know what I mean? Blacker. You know what I mean? Like, we've all got a friend called Ninja, or Shadow, or Blacker. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? But again, for me, it was just about being an individual, some capacity, whichever. But again, the name SKANX came from me liking music and music videos over everything else. Okay. I was a massive fan of Missy Elliott music videos. Oh, okay, I hear you. Just music videos. Yeah, but they were those are the days when music videos were real music videos. Like, they take you through like a proper journey. The choreography of music, Missy Elliott music videos used to throw my mind. Yeah. Like, I used to be in my yard, body popping like a... Yeah. She was on job. She was on job. Crazy to TV, so I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So the name SKANX came from the fact that people used to watch me in Malay. My brothers used to watch me do it and whatever. Okay. So I used to... When I was like 13, I used to go to like a dance club in Hackney and do street dance or whatever. Oh, really? So you see what yeah, I get it. But between the ages of 13 and probably 14, I probably started MCing by then. Okay. So the name, I just held the name as, SKANX. So I just took it from over there and just started MCing. Okay. And then the Dirty SKANX came a bit later on where the slang sort of changed. Where, that flow's dirty. And you're getting older already. Yeah. So I just kind of merged the Dirty with the Dirty SKANX, whichever else it is. And that was kind of it. It was no crazy story behind it. Yeah. But as far as like the genre of music at the time, that was like proper like, was it like street battle, rap battle type? Just freestyling? No, I grew up on the time of garage transition into grime. So the garage into grime. So I grew up in the time of the Pay As You Go, the Heartless crew, do you know what I mean? The Genius crews, the K2 families, all these garage crews that were now starting to transition into the Pay As You Goes, the Raw Deeps, the Nasty crews, the Boy Medals, all these crews. Becoming their mainstream. So I grew up in that era, so to speak. So that's where a lot of the energy of my music came from, to be honest with you. I was in school when stuff was going on. Okay. Yeah. So how do we go from just doing it as more of a leisurely thing, or just doing it as because perhaps it was a hobby and something you was interested in, because that was the culture at the time, right? Yeah. Then actually, right, I'm good at this. Let me just go for it and make my name as an artist.
Know a couple man that do. True, I'm on my J's and you're with your mates when you think that I don't know goons. There's not a killer in your heart, blood. Chrome Smith, a nigga can't catch a nigga slipping with his missus in the park, blood. Like, say that same thing in your bar, bro. No F that, you said something else.
If I could say there was a moment, I always felt like I was taking it seriously. Okay. But when I say that, I felt like there was a moment that when it became serious to me, I tell you a story, I was like 17, maybe 18 years old. Yeah. And I was going to studio by now, whichever else. Not before, it was just radio sets. Yeah. Nobody's really going to studio making songs. So I got in the studio a bit and making songs. And I linked up with a producer from West London, done this song. He the backstory. He's called me one day. Remember, I'm 16, 17 at the time. Okay, go on. Bro, remember that song that you done in the studio? Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking he's tell me he's lost it or he's deleted it or something or whatever else. He's gone to me. Well, while he's in the studio now and he really likes it, he wants to take one of your verses off so he can put one on. I said, what? I said, remember, I'm 17 at this time. While he's like hearing in 2025 Drake's song wants to jump on yourself. That's the equivalent, guys. That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was in 2005. Yeah. Someone said to you, Wiley wants to jump in your song. No, it was a rap part or whatever else it is. Come on. You do. Come on. You get to get Wiley in the song. That's levels. So, wow. This guy's gassing or whatever else, but I'm telling him, do it. Yeah, so about 3-4 days later, he's called me back and he's played it over the phone. I'm going berserk. Insane. So that's happened, and then he's sent it to a few DJs or whichever else. This is when Choice FM and DJ Cameo. Yeah. So okay, darling. I'm in Bagel Bite in Shepherd's Bush, and there's 2 Asian guys, and I'm talking to my friend Jake. Never forget it. And we're talking, and The Asian guy turns to me and goes, excuse me, brother, is your name SKANX? I said, yeah, why? Bro, man just heard your song on radio. I didn't know my song was on radio.
Okay, so who released it then? Why
the producer? The
producer did.
The producer did.
Okay.
I'm just a kid. Guys.
Yeah. So you're not really understanding the business side of things. You're just like, you know what, I've got a tune.
I've got a song.
Wiley's on it, right?
I know it.
And No Lay?
No Lay, yeah. The Lay that used to be an unorthodox, that's in.
Yes.
So it was the three of us on the song. I'm like, what? Do your thing, but these Asian guys have told me this song's on radio. From that moment to me, and I'm realizing, remember, this was before YouTube. This was before all of this stuff. People were recognizing my voice and telling me my song's sick.
Yeah, we are Top of the Pops and MTV Bass.
Or Nuts.
I know,
It wasn't one of those. And for people to be telling me that my music was sick at the time, and I wasn't on a channel U at the time or whatever else.
Okay, channel.
And I was already doing alright in the M's and the youth clubs and whatever else at the time. So for that was kind of the moment where I said, you know what? I really want to do this more than... And I wanted to do it anyway, but that was the moment that
I love that.
To do it,
I love that for you. That's wicked. That's wicked. And so, the Wiley tune drops. The feature. And okay, you're getting noticed. You're getting a bit of, you know, attention. You're creating that buzz and attention around you.
Yeah.
At that point, what's the circle looking like? What's the people around you looking like? Is it there's more people coming because now it's
do you know what? I'll be behind him. Do you know, I'll be real with you, the people that were around me didn't really change so much. I was kind of, remember, I'm young. I'm on my block at this time. So as much as I'm doing music, look, this is after school to me. So this is just after school now. Yeah, so early college days, so I'm working at a Sunday Wembley market job.
Okay.
My CDs at the market.
What would you study in at college?
At the college, I was in sports science. I was in college for the sake of sports science. I was studying. So sports science in college.
Okay.
But I was working at the time, so I was working at a Sunday market job, selling CDs and DVDs. Selling my CDs, my songs.
Do you know what I mean? And
on the side with everybody else. So if you come up with this 2-pack album, I'd push my little thing in there for £2 extra.
Nice. So come on, that entrepreneurship already.
I was hustling from the very, very, very early.
I love that.
MK was like, we used to do this MK and SK thing. I was out in.
Okay.
Yeah, so we was selling our CDs from very, very early and trying to push. But again, at the time, I was very much on my block.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is them days and whatever else it is. But as much as people noticed what I was doing on the block, nobody was really supporting it.
Do you know what? And this is the thing, actually. So this kind of brings us back to, at the beginning when we was in the kitchen, we kind of touched a bit on the industry and how, the industry can be very fickle. It can also, from my own experience, coming from podcasting and obviously the radio presenting, it's very cliquish. Like, and through speaking and interviewing artists, I get the sense that the industry is just like that.
It's probably worse, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I feel like...
What was your experience with it?
With the music industry, for me, I feel like in my earlier days, I was very lucky with understanding that having a CD was important. Not with just how much music you've got.
Okay.
Who's on CD?
Okay.
So the minute that I had that song with Wiley, I noticed that people in my ends who didn't really care about my stuff
all of a sudden cared. Oh, you got Wiley on your thing, yeah?
That's the conversation.
So then it kind of was the introduction to you realising it's about who you're attached to, not necessarily about what your product is, your content. Yeah.
So from that, I noticed that the fact that I had Wiley on the song, I was still now able to go and talk to other MCs who were established and say, listen, I've worked with Wiley before, I've worked with Human before, I've worked with Stormy before, I've worked with this person before, I've worked with that person. Which kind of, he must be somebody then. You see, when you get that, he must be somebody. Yeah. When you get that, you must be somebody. Then, you want to pause?
No.
Oh, cool. From you get that, he must be somebody vibe from people. People are a lot more open to working with you.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. The minute that you lock that and understand that, you run with it.
Yeah, this is it. Because there's a certain level where I'll always say there's certain things you can't take personal in the game because the game is just the game, right? You get in it and you find a way you can either find a way to fit in it and mold it to suit you, to benefit you, or you become one of them people that are like, oh, this ain't working, that ain't working, always finding the issue, but then there's no progress in that.
Next time on Glam Nadz TV.
You could marry a woman or stay with a woman and be faithful to a woman who isn't beautiful.
Dirty. And listen, come with me, guys, come with me. We're about to walk into the studio setting.
You say full time?
Come on, I know. Sorry, brother.
Can you say full time? You say no. Yeah, say nice. I was
gonna come out my shorts and sliders, you know, and then there's cameras and things.
When you get slapped, kickbox and back. When you get slapped, kickbox when you sing, you don't want to war. Oh, I don't want to get bored. You don't want to war. You wait until you got my head. You wait until you got my head. You got me last time.